Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. We're going to one of Ed's carburetors here. It's a Zama C2S, excuse me, C2. And his only note was that the carbs in the box wouldn't hold pressure. So we're going to pump this one up. You can see it is bleeding off fairly quickly. I'm going to show you what I've found. Look at that. Even leaking around the screw. Why is that? I can't tell you. Not yet. There's no note as to whether these are new gaskets or not. So we're going to open this up and take a look at it. And since I don't recall having put a C2 video up before, this will be good. Now, first thing I'm noticing is these screws, I mean, they weren't loose, but they're not like tight. Yeah, I had to go in further on those personally. But there's a couple things that can, you can do to combat this. Yeah, those are new. You can, this feels like it's an aftermarket gasket. So what you can do is use some gasket sealer in order to seal up a leaky gasket. I don't know what it is about these aftermarket gaskets these days. And this may not be one. This may just be a late enough one that even a Zama kit will do that at times. I don't know. It's tough to say. But if you have one that won't seal up just by tightening it a little bit more, you can use the gasket cinch. Now, somebody's website, whether it's Walbro or Zama's, I don't remember, actually has a recommendation somewhere in one of their service videos that you soak the parts in fuel first and let the gasket swell, and that'll help seal them up. So you can see inside of a C2, as you would find on a Super XL or late model XL12, they're not a lot different than a Tillotson or a Walbro SDC. Your idle circuit is covered by a Welch plug there. The high-speed nozzle does have a check valve in it, and you can unscrew the high-speed jet and then take this out. The needle comes out, just like a normal one, but we weren't seeing leakage there, so I'm not going to go crazy with this. I'm not going to take it apart just for the fun of taking it apart. What I will do is demonstrate what I do for a persistently leaky circuit gasket here, or fuel pump gasket. No goober there. Make sure that comes out. You don't have to use a lot. You can see how that's soaking in. That's really all you're trying to accomplish, is get it to soak in. And seal the gasket. I just don't want that little goob making its way anywhere in the carburetor. Alright. So all we're going to do is put this thing back together. And then we'll pressure test with the other side cover off first, and we can make sure to check that needle and make sure that it's not leaking. But as slow as that pressure gauge was going down, I'm guessing it wasn't. So I'm going to get these all snug and then we'll torque them down. These do have lock washers, so they shouldn't be loosening up on somebody. Okay. So those are snug. There we go. I don't want to compress that gasket. I don't want those ridges to seal up, and I don't want another leak. Alright. Pump this back up. That looks pretty good. Oh, that's a nice pop and snap. I like that. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay. So like a Tillotson carburetor, or Walbro for that matter, you've got to index the diaphragm into the fork on the inlet arm there. The inlet arm should be just at or slightly above the floor here. Any higher than that, you're going to start having issues with it flooding. I always like to challenge myself and see if I can hook that up with pressure on it. It's easier on these Zamas than it is on a Tillotson. I can tell you that. Ah, dummy. Failed that one. Pump it back up as this cover goes on, because that's when you can tell. Okay. Not moving. We'll get that cranked down. So this series of carbs is noted in the Zama literature as a C2-20-02, and that appears on this cover here, and then there's a bunch of numbers after it, which I'm assuming are either a serialization or a date code, but I don't know. I do not know. Okay, I'm happy with that. Full assembly, and she's still holding right at about 10. So hopefully that takes a little mystery out of a Zama C2 carburetor.